Roundtable. Is it a bull market or a fake pump? Right. In the house, we have Davinci. Welcome, Davinci. We have Chris with the Crypto.
Hey guys, nice to
have it on tech.
Nice. Very good to be here. Looking forward.
And of course, you have me, Ian. All right. So, guys, let's start things off. Right. Is it a bull market or a fake pump? What do you guys think? The suspense is killing us.
Well, looks like we're gonna have a little bit more to go, right? It's gonna be a little bit of, should be sideways chop by the looks of the charts, but there seems to be a lot of people trying to get in now, and I think it might blow past 4,100 really fast.
But hey, look at the volumes, because the volume is huge. It is, I think it is all-time high this year, 10 billion, even above 10 billion. So the volume is pretty significant. And in that sense, I think it's this pump is more significant than the last ones, where we just had small volumes and just one candlestick. This one, to me, looks more real and more genuine, so to speak, more organic. So that is the difference I see between the previous pumps and this pump.
Exactly. And this time, I mean, this more than 10 billion, this is only for Bitcoin. And if we go back into the last year, the last time we had a volume as high as the volume today was, I think it was in May or so, this huge fake out. So yeah, you are right, man. And for the price gains, it's always important to have a huge volume backing it. And we all know what happened back in the days in May. That was a huge pump, even though afterwards followed a huge bear market. So that's a very good point, man. And it's a positive thing to look at the volume today.
Yeah, I agree as well, right? Because if you actually look at the charts, Bitcoin is also having higher lows, right? And yeah, the volume is huge. Best volume we've had since May 2018, which is saying something. So basically in 1 year, this is the best volume day. And then Bitcoin is now really broken above the moving average, right? No matter what time frame you're basically staring at, moving average is now really the new support. So I think this is really a big day. Now, are we going to the moon? I'm not ready to proclaim that yet. I think lots of people are coming away from the sidelines, right? Myself as well.
Yeah, and generally it feels like the sentiment is getting better in the crypto community as a whole, because we saw at the Denver conference, we saw NEO DevCon, and we saw a lot of people actually quite positive towards the future. We also see a Lightning Network torch on Twitter going wild, and people really trying out Lightning Network, and quite famous people have also been part of this experiment with the Lightning Network, such as CEO of Twitter, and people even try to get Elon Musk into this Lightning Network contest. So, I mean, generally, people are quite positive towards Bitcoin and everything, and it feels like community is happy right now in these days. And this is not something that I experienced just a few months ago. So, a lot of good sentiment, according to me.
I have to ask you guys, where do you see this volume? Because I'm looking at the Bitstamp, Bitfinex, right, and I don't see this kind of huge volume even on the weekly. I'd like to know where you guys are getting these numbers. $1 billion?
Yeah, also that's an important point. I mean, we are pulling that numbers from CoinMarketCap.
Yeah,
you can basically pull all the data from there. But there's one problem with CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCap has also some exchanges like, I don't know, Coinbase and some exchanges who are really pumping their volume, and you never know how much of that volume is actually true volume and how much is wash trading.
But even if that is happening, right, assuming they've been creating fake volume for a year, this is the biggest fake volume day.
Yeah, sure. But besides all that positive things, I want to come back to something Davinci and me talked about. I think Davinci, was it yesterday, day before yesterday, something like that. We actually said that we can go above 4,100. And there are actually two scenarios if you look at the Elliot wave theory. So for example, if we stay below 4,100, that would mean we would still be in that third wave. And afterwards, we need a fourth wave. And afterwards, another fifth wave with a new all-time low. And even though if we go above 4,100, that does not mean that any bull market is confirmed. It, according to that theory, and making the assumption that the theory is correct, maybe it's not correct, but making that assumption, that could also only mean that we are in wave number 4, which is nice because then there's only one last wave, number 5. So it's not all positive, but it's at least more positive than last week.
So you're saying Elliot Wave 3 says there's one last dump before we...
If we go above 4,100, then it is confirmed that we are in wave number 4, because in wave number 4 you have A, B, C. If we don't go above 4,100, then it actually means that we are still in the downwards trend of the third wave. Then there will be an upwards trend in the fourth wave, and then one last final washout even lower than the previous low, which would be a very negative scenario. So let's all hope that we go above 4,100 at least.
Yeah, I saw a bit of that stream that you had with you and Davinci, Chris. And what was your conclusion? If it is the fact that we will enter the fifth wave, what is the bottom in that sense? If it is Elliot wave theory that applies to this market right now?
Davinci, maybe that's your turn.
I had two numbers, right? One is the golden ratio, because I did an extension and I believe the golden ratio for the 1.618 worked out to be about 2,400, I think it was, and then the 2-to-1, to double was 1,800, close to $1,800, $1,900, and so yeah, it was right on my $1,800 call, and I was like, wow, that extension looks really really good.
and that corresponds to the hyperwave theory as well, because I don't know if you guys are aware, there is this hyperwave theory by Tyler Jenks, which he also has his own YouTube channel. It's called Hyperwave, and they also have a fund, I think, and they manage wealth for people. And so he came on my channel and discussed hyperwave theory, which is his model for the current market. And so in his view, we are in the last wave of the hyperwave. It has 7 stages, 7 different phases, and we are in the 7th one. And according to him, it will end around 1,000. So if both Elliot and hyperwave are pointing towards 2,000, hey, maybe it is somewhere there, because no model is perfect. No model can predict the world 100%. But if you see several models pointing to the same number, maybe there is something true in that.
Yeah. I'm looking at a different model. Actually, sorry, Chris. I'm looking at a different model called point and figure charts, and it says 1,020 is the bottom. And I'm like, what? I don't believe that. But then again, I saw a point and figure chart point to like 20,000, and I was thinking that was nuts.
So some people in the comments is saying Elliot Wave International says the bottom is in, that this is the bottom. Are you guys ready to proclaim this is the bottom, right? If this is the fourth wave, you said?
If it's the fourth wave, it should basically mean that there will be a fifth wave afterwards, even with a new all-time low. So even though, according to the theory and according to when we are in wave number 4, then still there would be one last final washout, a fifth downwards trend, or a third one, but wave number 5.
And any predictions in terms of time frame for that fifth wave?
Davinci, maybe that's your turn again.
That's the May-June timeframe, because that's the seasonal bottom for alts, and I think the alts are going to drag down Bitcoin. It's not the
now, Davinci, I think I heard you said that every February the market kind of has a mini pump, right? Some kind of pump because of New Year or something like that, or
that's correct. I was expecting this, right? I just didn't. I was looking for a trade on the Bitcoin price. I just could not find one based on any of my particular trading plans. I was like, wow, this thing just took off, and just like, I mean, I know people who have trading plans that go by what's it called, trend lines, but that's not part of my trading plan, so I couldn't trade this particular uptick in Bitcoin, and I'm a little envious.
For me, I've kind of been on the sidelines, and I hear about all the money people are making now in the last couple of weeks. I'm like, is the market back? Right? People are talking about ontology and how that's been pumping. I'm not even sure why. I think that's some news. I know there's other projects. So it seems the market is slowly recovering, especially altcoins.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. Let me throw in something controversial. For all that theories, and we are all, also we at Crypto, Davinci, we are all always pulling up theories, and that's very useful to get an open mind. But there are so many theories, and maximum maybe one of that theory can be true, but also one day this true theory will be proven wrong. So for everyone out there maybe thinking, oh yeah, this Elliott wave theory is correct, or the other one is correct, maybe you should think about whether it's anyways, whether anyways Bitcoin is low enough to buy. Because let's say you are applying to one theory and you don't buy in because you're waiting for that last fifth wave with a new all-time low. And let's say this theory is not correct, then the price will run away when FOMO kicks in, and you won't have any stake in the game. So maybe we should have a look at all the theories to get an open mind and be prepared. But usually when you don't have enough skin in the game, it's good to step a foot in that game, buy something, and then when it goes lower, cost average down.
Yeah,
I agree, Chris. I agree. You know what? Actually, I could show you a chart. If we do a chart of the Fibonacci retracement, you can see that Bitcoin is below the 78.6. So you're getting it like from the last low, which was $160, to its high of to 20,000. You're getting it almost at 80% discount. So you're getting it at a really good discount. Could it go lower? Yes. But you're near the bottom, not near the top. So you're good to buy, like cost averaging, actually. Good to cost averaging starting now. But don't expect miracles, because this is going to be a sideways chop and it's going to be brutal. It's going to hurt. But if you're a buy and holder, you can live with it.
All right, cool. So what do you guys think about Binance chain? Binance is launching their own blockchain.
That one is interesting. I'm actually gonna interview CZ on my channel in 12 hours. It's gonna be awesome. And Binance chain is coming out, and with that also their decentralized exchange. So this is really the point with Binance chain, to number one, create a blockchain, and number two, also launch their decentralized exchange. But really my question to CZ will be, how decentralized is it really? Because it is still not released. We still don't know exactly how it's gonna look like, how it's gonna work like, but the listing on Binance decentralized exchange will not be free. So tokens will have to pay, projects will have to pay, and so the question is, how decentralized is it really? So I'm looking forward to discussing that with CZ. And also they will move their Binance token from Ethereum to Binance chain, and so the question is, will other tokens follow? Because maybe if you are on Binance chain, you get easier listings, you get more perks from Binance, and obviously altcoins want to be on Binance, but at the same time we see STOs, we see security tokens, and who knows how Binance will position themselves in that regard, which in my view is really the next wave that we see in crypto right now. And if an exchange is not thinking about security tokens, I think they are missing out long term. So all of that is very exciting, but is it really decentralized? Who knows? I will try to find out in 12 hours with CZ.
I mean, I think it's, have you guys seen CZ's post about decentralization? Yeah, like he basically had this long blog post saying, can't really be fully decentralized because you're giving away user experience. And in terms of for crypto to go mainstream, he's saying he does not think crypto has to be fully decentralized. He thinks, yes, decentralization is good in some aspects, but in terms of making something so easy to use that your mom, your dad, your friends are not tech savvy can use it, right? There has to be some centralization when it comes to security and other aspects. And frankly, actually, I kind of agree, right? Because I think user experience and user interface is much more important than fully decentralization. Because if people have to really handle all the tech and the security themselves, that's that barrier to entry. That brings lots and lots of friction to people who are not tech savvy. Yeah.
But still, you will have to manage your keys yourself, like your phrase. So I mean, it could be the fact that it is like Binance, but you actually don't, you have custody yourself over your funds, and that's it. But the actual tech platform is centralized, but you need but all your funds are stored with you. But the actual trading engine is central. But who knows? That is going to be very interesting. And I do see the point with centralization. And also people need, for example, customer support. It's very important. Like my mom would never use a decentralized exchange because it has no customer support. Yeah, and the average people will need customer support. I also saw this interesting tweet that people are losing their AirPods, you know, this Apple thing in your ear, and we expect them to handle their private keys. And you know, it's true. It's true. I have lost my AirPods several times, so it's something to keep in mind for sure.
I mean, I want to come back to that point. For the decentralization part, I 100% agree. When you have something decentralized at that point of time, then the user interface or the user experience will lag a little bit. But when you look at IDEX or EtherDelta, that was, in my opinion, it was kind of crap because they have functions to freeze the funds or something, or when the government is coming after them, they can shut down the whole exchange because you have to access it through a domain and so on. So in the end, let's say my mother wouldn't really use a decentralized exchange because of the lack of the user interface. So fine, she can go to Coinbase. So I see the only value add in a decentralized exchange that is really 100% decentralized, even without any entity behind it, without a domain where you can access it, you have it on your computer. And I don't know, that's how I understand a decentralized exchange. And yes, there is one value add with holding your own private keys, but the biggest value add is with the decentralization. And in the end, I don't see any value add in things like IDEX and so on, and maybe not even in Binance. I love Binance, the exchange, I'm using it, but for the decentralized exchange, I will have to check out, and I will have to see what functions they have. When the SEC comes and they can freeze funds, how decentralized does that feel to you? It doesn't really feel decentralized to you.
But you know, sorry, Davinci. I just want to say it's several different levels. Like if you want to be hardcore, well, you can use a really decentralized exchange, but most people are not there. So I think like different groups of people that will use different options. If you want to be 100% underground, no centralized exchange, no centralized authority, well, in the future, you will hopefully have exchanges that do have liquidity and they are completely decentralized, which we don't really have right now. But yeah, Davinci, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, as a software developer, yes, this space is this decentralized exchanges are new, and it's just going to be for the hardcore. But the way I see it going forward in the future, because there's going to be businessmen who put together applications on top of the decentralized exchange, and they're going to sell those applications that interact with the decentralized exchanges to those to your mom and your pop and your grandparents, and on top of that, I'm going to be working on a solution for to get your grandmother into cryptocurrencies, basically by using decentralized authorities. What that is basically, everybody knows somebody that is in this crypto space, right? Yeah, that guy, I know him. He's really smart, right? And he's a nice guy. He's an honest guy. He can take care of me. And if you can, if I could come up with a company that basically manages the different, for example, just states, okay, well, you want somebody to be your authority for you, decentralized authority. Your friend across the street, he could be he'll manage your private keys. And if you lose your keys, you can go back to him and say, hey, listen, man, I lost my keys, right? Can you get them back for me? And through that centralized system, he will get back his neighbor's keys. And that's how I see that working. I think where you find somebody that you know that's going to take care of you, basically. Or it could be a large corporation as well that could do that.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Let's see here. So we're getting some questions from people here. Do you guys want to take some questions from the audience?
Sure.
Well, let's do it.
We're asking opinions on coins.
Like always.
Okay, so people talking about XRP, EOS. So I guess what projects do you like right now in this fake, or I guess in this possible fake pump, besides Bitcoin?
I'm a Dash. I'm really like Dash, but I don't think Dash is going to do well in this fake pump. Let me take a look at the charts quickly.
I saw that I was shopping for Dash in a grocery store.
I mean, are you asking for the TA point of view?
Any perspective, whether TA or fundamental?
Okay, I mean, from the TA point of view, we at Crypto, we evaluate always on a fundamental point of view, even though Davinci is TA and he joined our team, but that was recently. If you check that out, I can't even cut a tomato. So I will stay away from TA, but I will still stay deep in fundamental analysis. And that's why, I mean, we at Crypto, there are very few coins we really, really like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Monero, public, permissionless, proof of work blockchains. Usually that's what we like at Crypto, and there are very, very few exceptions, and it's always the long run. So especially in this bull market, it's very hard to tell. Maybe that's more something Davinci is very good at with his TA point of view, but for the fundamental point of view, it's always the long term, and then public permissionless proof of work, and already gain some network effects. Obviously, that's also very important.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I'm looking. I did a quick analysis, and if you bought Dash right now, you have a good possibility of getting a double and selling half on the double and doubling up your money. Because just at the 38.2 level, if it goes to the 38.2 level, you've already doubled your money if you bought at this point in time right now. That doesn't mean you should go run out and buy it, right? Just as a disclaimer, right? Because this could all go wrong. I'm just saying. But yeah, if that's what the technical analysis is saying right now.
So Dash is a possible good buy now with a good risk return ratio at the moment.
Exactly.
Interesting. How about you, Ivan?
Well, I look at the development community. All of us, we have all of our different biases because we have different backgrounds. So my background is programming and development. And so when I evaluate projects, I always look at the development community. And looking at that, Ethereum is number one, no question about that when it comes to smart contract platforms. But EOS has been doing well as well with their community of developers and trying to build tools, trying to build utilities so that it's easier to actually develop dApps on EOS. Because if you look at EOS during the summer, it was so difficult to even get started. There were so many bugs. I mean, the network was live, but to develop something, it was not an easy task. And so you see a lot of development on that front. Just purely marketing, from the marketing perspective, I think, Justin Sun is doing a lot of marketing hustle. It's not that I think Tron is a technical miracle. We have been discussing this on my channel many times that, Tron is really, really good at being in the media. And this is something that should not be underestimated. And therefore, I think they are quite successful as well. But for me, it is the technology that is most important in the long run. And although you can pump your coin short term with good media attention, long term is all about the tech. And from that perspective, it is Ethereum except Bitcoin. If we're not discussing Bitcoin, which I'm not, because obviously Bitcoin is my favorite in this bear market. But if we look at all other coins, also they have Casper, they have sharding coming out soon. I mean, the dates I hear right now is 2019, so hopefully it will happen 2019, at least some kind of first version. But other than that, I mean, you don't really see a lot of that interesting activity in other projects from my point of view. It is the biggest 10 that I mostly follow and look at. And in that sense, it is the dev community that gives me the most comfort in projects.
Interesting. Well said. Now, for me, I think if I have to look at projects currently on exchanges that I like, probably the ones I liked last year, right? I like Loom Network a lot. They just recently announced they're launching their validators and networks and then their nodes. They have people can now start staking. So I think to me that one is very, very undervalued. And maybe even FinDX. That was my best investment last year, so why not?
Yeah, and looking at Loom, it is one of these interesting projects that do help Ethereum ecosystem as well, because Loom what they have done is basically built on top of Ethereum, but then they also have their own coin and their own network as well. But in order to actually build something on Ethereum today, because of all the scaling issues and nothing really works on Ethereum if you really want to build something, but you can do a sidechain, you can do a layer 2 solution. So Loom is actually a good example of that.
Well, looking at the price of Ethereum, it's past its 200-day moving average, and that's a good sign.
Okay, so what do you guys think about Craig Wright coming to be to the SEC? Right?
That's a good question, man. I just saw a thumbnail in the recommended YouTube videos that he is somehow proven wrong, but he was proven wrong a long time ago. If you used the Wayback Machine and checked some of his comments, which he deleted afterwards, then you definitely could tell that he's wrong. We thought actually about using that Wayback Machine and making a video about it, but then you don't want to mess too much with Craig Wright. He has a lot lot of power.
But
it's a liar, man. I think he's a liar.
He's going to the government, right? And I'm not sure if he's under oath, but if he is, I mean, that's a serious allegation, right? To say you're the real Satoshi, right? I mean, because we thought it was Davinci.
Yeah, it is. Definitely.
But it was quite funny. Have you seen the WikiLeaks on Twitter? WikiLeaks, the official account with the blue mark on Twitter, tweeted that, hey, you know, serial fabricator Craig Wright is now claiming that he is Satoshi once again. So that was quite interesting to see that they actually went out and posted it from their official account on WikiLeaks.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, for me, I came much later, so I haven't really been keeping tab with all the debates about who's the actual Satoshi. I mean, for me as an investor, I don't really care. I mean, it's because we can't really know until that person really comes and adds proof, right?
Yeah.
So, but all the speculation is kind of exciting, right? It is drama, right? But in terms of kind of just going forward as an investor, it's not really a big deal.
But so now he's going to the government and testifies, or what is the story there? Because I just heard that is it in Australia or where is that happening?
The CFTC, I think that's the US.
In the US. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, you know, and I do agree with you that it is drama. It is not that fruitful at the end of the day, but still nice to follow. People want to hear about it.
Yeah, so the Commodities Futures Trading Commission is in the US, but I think he filed his claim from the UK.
Okay.
All right.
If he's testifying in front of Congress, man, he's putting his life in jeopardy, basically. Because if the real Satoshi shows up, he could be prosecuted for lying.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, unless he comes out and really shows us, right?
Yeah, but he won't, and it's also the probability that he's dead, or that it's a group of people, but a multi-sig wallet and some multi-sig wallet, and I don't know. So there's a high probability that he will never ever come out. Yeah. You know, even though it's Davinci, I mean, you didn't do it alone, isn't it? You had a team. Admit to it, man.
Projects having like a famous leader, whether Vitalik with Ethereum, Justin Sun with Tron, right? Because Bitcoin really has no face. What do you think about that? Do you think it's good to have a face for a project, or should it be truly decentralized?
I think that's its USP, that it has no face, and I think it's good like it is. Many people say, okay, there are some troubles in the Bitcoin community. We would need something like a leader coming and bring some correct order in that struggles. But I think that's the USP of Bitcoin, and I think it's very good to have no face behind it. And if he would come out right now, he would have he would be in a very big danger because he's a very wealthy guy. A lot of people try to kidnap him, get out the private key or something, because he most probably has it in a brain wallet. So I don't know. I think it wouldn't be a good idea for him to come out, even though there are struggles in the developers community.
Chris, he wouldn't have had, in the early days of Bitcoin, they didn't have like what's it called, a HD wallet. So he had those, each of those keys were created on the wallet separately at the time, and so he would have to have each and every single key in the wallet.dat file in order to get those coins back. And so if he lost that wallet.dat file, that's it, it's gone, they're gone.
Yeah, but maybe he has had it in his brain, in a brain wallet or something like that, you know? That's
the problem is he can't, yeah, even if he had a brain wallet, you see, back in the days, you couldn't have created a brain wallet because that technology did not exist at that point. That's why. It was only until we added HD to Bitcoin made that possible, right? Because then you could create multiple keys from one key, keys from one key.
Yeah, because this mnemonic phrase is the seed to your wallet, and that seed can then recreate all other private keys. And so exactly. at the beginning, you didn't have that. But also, just coming back to the discussion about centralization, all projects start centralized. In Bitcoin, Satoshi was the first to mine the first block. He was the first miner. I mean, it was highly centralized in the early days. But then he let it go after a few years. And the same is with, that is where all projects should be going towards. That in the beginning, yes, it needs to be centralized. Someone needs to set the tone. Someone needs to drive the project forward. But then let the project go. So I hope that more and more projects do that and arrive at that stage. But right now, we still have Vitalik in Ethereum, although he says that he maybe will be leaving. For the Ethereum price, I don't think that will be very great because so many people believe in Vitalik. They think that Vitalik is going to solve everything, because he looks so smart and he looks so wonder childish. And so if he leaves, I think it will be very bad for the Ethereum price. But nonetheless, it needs to happen at some point. I mean, 50 years into the future, we can still not have, Vitalik being the head of Ethereum and everyone is checking everything with Vitalik. So I think it's natural that all projects are very centralized in the beginning, but then as time goes on, founders need to let go of them.
Well, I think this is still an experiment. Because never in our history, have we had like a decentralized system like this, where, or for example, can you say that the internet is decentralized, truly decentralized? No, you've got a bunch of ISPs running the system. Can you say that any other thing, any kind of asset is decentralized in our existence? There's nothing. There's no companies that are decentralized. Nothing exists like that. So this is still an early days experiment, and we're going to see what works and what doesn't in the decentralized space. And I look forward to seeing it.
Right. So speaking of the early days, Davinci, take us back then. How did you discover crypto?
I was running a YouTube channel, right, called Davinci J15, as everybody knows. And I was talking about gold and silver and letting people know, hey, you know what, you got to get out of this horrible rat race system because the monetary system is false. And yeah, back in 2009, I did start researching how to create a monetary system, decentralized monetary system. I just didn't find Bitcoin at the time. And all I found was people talking about how it's impossible to create one. And so I gave up on it. And then somebody mentioned, hey, what do you think about Bitcoin? I'm like, scam. I already know that you can't solve the double spend problem. And so I read the source code, right? And I said, I'm going to show you how it's a scam. And it turns out it wasn't. So I was like, oh my God, this is going to make people rich. If you can buy it for $1 now, right? Back that was March of 2011. Wow. And I was quite correct.
Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think I just find it very fascinating to people who were so early in Bitcoin. Like they really, really believed, right? Because people come in now and they think they're late, even though they're still early in a way. But the people who were really early, when Bitcoin was under $1, I mean, I just wish I could hop in a time machine and just kind of see that.
And so at that time, did Litecoin even exist? Or was it only Bitcoin? And that's it?
No, Bitcoin was 2014, I think.
It's 2011, shortly afterwards, after I think it was like 2 or 3 months later, Litecoin came into existence.
Really? 2011 already?
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember I was able to mine it for nothing. It was like worth nothing. And people were like, hey, yeah, if you missed Bitcoin, because it passed $32 and then came back down. If you missed Bitcoin, you should get into Litecoin, right? And people were mining it, hoping that it would come up from nothing to something. And at the time, I didn't agree with it. I wish I had did mine some of it, but I was mining Namecoin at the time because I felt that Namecoin had more utility than just a silver to Bitcoin's gold. What the heck?
Now, speaking of Litecoin, right? How did you guys feel about Charlie Lee last year selling all his Litecoin at the top? Because there's rumors now that he may have bought back in. I'm not sure how true these are, but if that's the case, I mean, I think that's pretty weird, right? Because he claimed to have sold them due to conflict of interest, right? Being the project's leader owning Litecoin, which to me doesn't really make sense. I feel like if you're building a project, you should have skin in the game. You should be invested.
And he sold like 5% below the all-time high. So that was a very good timing.
Yeah, because actually I was speaking to somebody about a week ago. He's like, rumors are that Charlie Lee bought back in. And if he did, he's like, this guy knows something because he sold Litecoin at almost the top, right? And then a week now, we're hearing about the market possibly recovering and JPMorgan, JPM coin, and all this stuff, right? So maybe like the Bitcoin OGs know something.
I mean, that would be great. I saw a tweet of Charlie Lee with a comparison of a lot of tweets of him, and he was correct a lot of times back in the days in terms of predicting prices. He sold Litecoin nearly at the top, and also sometimes I think in December he said that Bitcoin is nearly at an all-time high, also before the crash, and he did that a lot of times. So that's a good sign, yeah. When an OG like Charlie Lee, even though that's not very legit, if he bought back in, then it's a very good sign, maybe.
I bought back in Litecoin, not at the exact.
No, but I think that's the conflict because before he claimed to have sold due to conflict of interest. So when he bought back in, I guess.
But actually, at the end of the day, it's human nature. The timing was perfect. Now the timing is perfect again to get back in. So, I mean, am I surprised? Not at all, because it is kind of one of these things that I've learned that it is human nature. Like people will do such things. So, is it unethical? Absolutely. But could it happen? Absolutely, could happen as well. And it's also when you expect humans to behave with their human nature, you don't become disappointed. It is just, I hope it doesn't happen, but, it's human nature. And it's in all situations in life, not only in crypto in this particular situation. And so according to humans and human life, it is, it wouldn't be a surprise at all.
Okay. All right, so let's take some more questions from people from the audience. People are talking about DEXs, saying, what do you guys think about Nash and resistance?
I'm not an expert on Nash, but resistance is about privacy. So I would say that is the USP with resistance, privacy and decentralized exchange. But Nash is actually very, very good at community building. I've seen many people talk about Nash, so they're really, really good at that.
Yeah, because they are using this referral system now, and it's getting on our nerves. We have all the people posting that referral link into our group. I also wanted to add something on resistance. What we really liked about it at Crypto is that they will at one day when they have enough masternodes and when there's enough hashing power and so on, they will put away the entity behind it and truly become decentralized. And if that is going to happen, I mean, we cannot predict the future, but if that is going to happen, that would be really a great thing and would be way more decentralized than everything we saw on IDEX, Ether Delta, and maybe even Binance Chain.
Yeah, and also resistance is an application on your computer. So it's not like a URL you need to go somewhere that can be taken down. It's an application on your computer. And so in that sense, I think that is where more and more decentralized exchanges will move, because as we saw with Ether Delta, and as we will see, I think with other decentralized exchanges as well, that if you have a website that you rely on, a domain name, a URL that people visit, it's not a good thing from a decentralization standpoint. So privacy, having its own application for the desktop. Also, that you have Tor integrated as well. So not only are you private on the consensus level, but also on the network level. Those are two different technological stacks. And in that sense, I think we'll also see many different decentralized exchanges coming out as well. Nash is one of them. And Binance is also, which will launch its testnet tomorrow. And the competition is very significant when it comes to DEXs. And the question is, will they all have volume? Will they all have users? Well, no. Some of them will die out. Some of them will win. So it's good that we have competition. It's good that we can really test what is the best project out there.
Right. How about you, Davinci?
I agree. I'm a big supporter of resistance. I like what I saw when I went to the World Economic Forum, and I agree that resistance will have a significant share in the future if they continue down their path that they're planning. As Chris said, we can't predict the future, but I think that resistance has a good plan. I like their federated nodes, right? They have both an application and federated nodes, server nodes that you can install on your computer. You can have your own server node as well as the application itself. And yeah, I'm 100% with resistance. I don't know about the other one, which I never even heard of. What was it called again?
Nash. They rebranded.
Nash.
They were formerly Dex, right? They're like the Neo Dex.
Yeah, Nex was the name before.
Yeah, then I think maybe something happened there to rebrand. So I mean, for me, I looked at that a while back. I wasn't bullish, in particular because I didn't think the team used to be. Although that is very subjective, right? For us, we didn't think the team was strong enough. But with the resistance, we think this is the right team, right? I'm definitely an investor and advisor, so I'm definitely biased. So always do your own research, guys. But yeah, so I think the DEX space is really heating up. And for me, I really like how they're trying to innovate with the user interface, user experience, trying to make it really simple like Coinbase. Because I think for crypto to really get mass adoption, lots of things have to really be innovated from the user experience perspective in terms of taking away all the friction, making it simple to use and to onboard people. Because I know when I joined crypto, I joined because of Coinbase. Coinbase was so simple to use, right? And if there was no Coinbase, I may still be on the sidelines. I think it's a pretty big.
I understand that.
For me, it was Kraken, I can remember. And it took me like a month. And also my co-founders, they were also starting with Kraken. It took us like a month or 1.5 months to get verified for tier 3. That was a horrible situation, but we really, really wanted to start finally with Bitcoin. And that was like 2017, very beginning, and we saw everything running array, and it was so horrible for waiting for that verification. So we had another experience. Maybe Coinbase would have been the better idea back in the days.
Now, for me, as you guys, as my audience knows, I'm kind of really expanding into equity investing and security tokens, right? Getting ready for STOs, security token offerings. I think it would have been really fascinating to own equity in an exchange like
Coinbase.
Early days, right? So I think those plays are still available, right? So I'm very excited for this new space that's kind of opening up. What do you guys think about STOs and security tokens?
I think it will really. I just was going to say that although we are in a bear market, you look at equity, it's actually looking very good. You look at, for example, Chainalysis. They just closed another funding round. Like a week ago, I think it was on the 12th of February, and they're working with blockchain analysis. You also see Bitmain trying to do an IPO, but who knows how that will be, because they're losing a lot of money, but still they're a significant player. So equity will really balance out the market, I think, because you can invest in an equity token with by buying a security token, and still be very, very high up. Your portfolio will be high up when all the coins go down. So in that sense, it will mature the market for sure.
Yeah. Somebody actually, okay, Matt, I just shared in his Telegram that Bitmain IPO documents reveal $500 million in Q3 losses. That's a lot of money. But to me, I don't think that's really an issue per se, because lots of companies aren't profitable until the end, especially tech companies, right? If you look at Facebook, Uber, all these companies are just spending as much money as possible to grow as fast as possible. And they really began making profit later on in their life cycle, right? Because to them, really, growth was the main metric, right? So to me, Bitmain may be having issues, but as an investor, if you're a VC and you got into Bitmain 2 years ago, in 2 years span, it did 100x, right? No matter what the losses are on the balance sheet, right? That's 100x in a bear market, right? So those ones are still available in equity investing. So I think that's what's really
For the security tokens, we have a very hard time at Crypto seeing that we will see something like we saw it in 2017 with the utility tokens, because for the utility tokens you had syndicates, you had market makers, you had pump and dumps, you had some kind of manipulation to pump up all the prices. I mean, we all know how that structures work. And those won't be really possible for STOs on that regulated exchanges, where you cannot put in some, I mean, there are legit market makers and shady market makers. You cannot put in that shady market makers. And I mean, there will be, for a lot of those STOs, a lack of volume in the beginning. So, and also very important, you will have a way to somehow calculate the intrinsic value. So let's go to Nash, and you know how much % of the trading income, of the fee income you will get. Then you can take that income, you can project a yearly income, and then you can see, okay, I demand a 20% return on investment, so the intrinsic value is 5 times the yearly income, for example. So you will have something like a dividend ratio, and it will be more easy to calculate the intrinsic value. And whenever it goes way above, arbitrage guys can sell it, or whenever it goes way below, people can buy back in. So it will be very hard to make that overvaluation for STOs, which is kind of good because it's legit, but for all us, and we are moon guys, it's also sad to see that we won't get any like short-term 100x's.
I think it's still possible, because if you think about it, in the equity space, there are penny stocks, right, and low cap, micro cap stocks, right, that have had astronomical gains as well, right? Because I know prior to crypto, I was trading penny stocks, right? So it was possible for stocks to do a 1, 2, 3x or even 4x in like a week or two in the equity space, right? And that's the space that's regulated, right? So I think it's still possible. I mean, I don't think it's going to be as epic or as fast as 2017 was,
no,
right? But I think there's still opportunity.
Yes, I like STOs. My problem is that the government likes to crush them. And the reason why, it's always because they say, oh, it's to protect you, right? Protect the investor. Well, the investor needs to protect themselves, really. They need to learn how to protect themselves. And they need to listen to people like Chris at Crypto, who goes over the different STOs, the different ICOs, and shows you which ones to buy and which ones not to buy. And you need to take responsibility for yourself on what you're going to invest.
Very interesting, guys. I have an announcement to make, namely that I unfortunately have to go now. I have a call right after this. But hey, you can continue. It was amazing hanging out here with you. And I hope your viewers enjoyed this, Ian. Let's do it sometimes in the future. So have a great continuation of the stream, and we'll be in touch, guys. We'll be in touch.
Well, thank you, Ivan.
All right, man. Thanks for joining us.
Goodbye, everyone.
We'll see you on the moon.
Exactly.
Pluto and beyond.
Let's see how they remove myself.
You're good. Okay, I can take care of that. All right. So, anything you guys want to cover, Davinci or Chris? No.
I think we, Ian, you mentioned that, I think, also in one of your last videos. Maybe we can talk about just quickly about the JPMorgan coin, because there are many people saying that there's a huge that there's a huge impact on the legitimacy of crypto, and maybe this is kind of true, but I think we should also talk about the other side. So I think you guys are already you guys are very positive towards that news. Is that correct?
Yes. I mean, for me, I'm positive because I think it's, as an entrepreneur and sales guy working as a sales executive at IBM, having case studies of big names you can kind of hang your hat on when you're trying to sell something, whether getting partnerships, business development, right? Imagine you're a blockchain startup and people are saying, oh, crypto is dead. You tell them, well, JPMorgan, a company with a market cap of over $300 billion, just launched its first cryptocurrency this month.
Oh, can we bring back the split screen? Some people are asking in the group.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, perfect.
Right, so, right, that's a huge validator for the space, because before all these big companies, they didn't really mess with crypto. They did blockchain, they would say DLT, distributed ledger technology, but crypto was the bad son, right? I noticed because working at an IBM, they never touched cryptocurrency. Like it was like no-go area. We would talk about blockchain and hyperledger, but in terms of a coin or a token, forget that. But now, like these big companies are actually coming into the cryptocurrency space. I think it's a huge win.
Wow. So are you sure that they didn't create another DLT, distributed ledger technology crap with blockchain, which is actually just a database?
Exactly.
Well, that's true.
I think what they are doing is just a permission private blockchain with a stable coin. But I think, Ian, your point was also the legitimacy because of the big name of JPMorgan. But still, I mean, it won't have any huge impact for the crypto space at all, in my opinion.
I mean, maybe it's what caused the market fund.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's kind of true. But we already have that. We already have IBM also developing private permissioned blockchains, and then
yes,
we have Oracle.
IBM has no token, right? Because they're against tokens. I mean, they do have that partnership with Stellar, right? Which to me was pretty big as well. But companies have blockchains, but in terms of creating their own coin, right? I think that's what's really big. In terms of decentralization and how useful it is, I mean, it's just a stable coin, really, right? It's not really that innovative. But because it's JPMorgan doing it, right? Other big players will pay attention now and take it seriously.
Yeah, but can the average person use it?
No.
No, it's for banks, I think.
It's for banks only.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so it's not really for the ethos of the community, but I mean, for me, it's just more about big wins, right?
Okay.
The business world, you can kind of leverage to get more business opportunities and partnerships and development.
Let's focus on what we agree upon. So, okay, legitimacy for other banks and for other big institutions, seeing that JPMorgan is in the space and they are developing their own coin, which is still private permissioned with a variable supply and so on. So it's kind of crappy, but yes, legitimacy, that's true. But on the fundamental point of view for the crypto space, how we like it and why we are here, it won't have any impact. But I think on these 2 points, we all agree upon.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you think about it, right? If you in January 2018, for me, what really made me kind of go all in into crypto, I got into Ethereum. Well, I doubled down on Ethereum. It was around $15 or so. Then Ethereum announced the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance. They announced all the big names: Microsoft, Citibank, JPMorgan, whatever. And the price went to like $30, then $40. And I was like, oh, wow. I doubled my money in like a week and a half. I said, guys, you know what? Sell everything. This is it. This is big, right? The crypto is here to stay, right? Now, whether or not, I mean, they didn't really do much, right? But that stamp of approval, in a way, right, made me more confident, but also made the market more confident in Ethereum. And I think that's really what began the kickstart for Ethereum. Then the ICO wave kind of began taking off as well. So I think you have to have those kickstarts, those things that really kind of push you forward, whether or not they actually have utility in terms of a technical or a decentralization standpoint. I don't think it matters, but if they get people excited and get more people into this space, then I think it's a win.
Yeah. I can remember what brought us into the market was, I think it was first the halvening, then we read a bit about it, and then it was Japan making Bitcoin to a legal payment in their country. And me personally, coming from an economic background, I really thought, okay, this gives some legitimacy to it, and then I got more into it. But yes, I got your point. You persuaded me a little bit on that point, that it gives more legitimacy, and for some people it will lower the barrier to entry for the crypto space, maybe seeing institutions like JPMorgan developing their own coin. But I still want to stick on it that it's not giving any value to all of us as investors in crypto. Yes.
Yeah, so no value as investors. That part I agree with.
All right, man.
I just think that then that's just absolutely useless, other than just news, which is to get people all excited about crypto and cause the price to move. And that's just a waste, really, because like you should not be chasing after coins that have gone up so high. Like, for example, Litecoin, please, people, don't buy buying that. It's already too late.
That's why you should jump on the Davinci Crypto episodes where you check the coins out which are at the bottom. But I don't want to shill anything here.
Let me see if we have any questions here from the audience. So people are talking about Binance Launchpad and Fetch.ai project. What do you guys think about Binance Launchpad? Because BitTorrent did really, really well on that. And now people think like Binance is trying to kind of take over the ICO market. And I think it's actually a good strategy. They're trying to become like the NASDAQ for ICOs.
It's right? Just incredible. It's just incredible to see how powerful they are. They are taking that rotten ICO space, which is completely damaged, and they are still able to fill up the hard cap immediately to make it 10x possible. Like for BitTorrent, it's crazy, and for Fetch, which has a too high hard cap in our opinion, by the way, they will most probably fill the hard cap within like seconds or minutes, even though it's way too high. And maybe they will even be able to, with their market makers, with all the liquidity providing and with the shortcuts and tricks they are using, they might be even able to make Fetch a good return on investment in the short term. And it's crazy to see that. I think I agree on you. It's a very good move of them. They are making a lot of money with that. Not only with the race where they most probably get a percentage from, maybe not, but 100% they make a huge profit in the trading fees, and afterwards also in maybe selling their own stake on their own exchange without any trading fees. So it's very, very intelligent. It's a very smart move of Binance.
Yes, really. More power to them. I think more power to them.
It's crazy. Yes.
I think if that AI ends up pumping again, because I don't think it's a good project, to be honest, right? Mm-hmm. But if it pumps, then yeah, I think the Binance effect is real, right? The Binance Launchpad is like the new NASDAQ. Yes.
Yeah, we need a second confirmation, true, because BitTorrent was the first mover. We need Fetch to perform well as well, and then we can say, okay, this is really, really, kind of sustainable already. Also Fetch, the hard cap is too high, but I think Binance is powerful enough to pump them as well, because they need a few testimonials to make even more ICOs coming to them and asking for being able to launch on the Launchpad. So I'm pretty sure CZ wants the first, 3, 4, 5 to be a success, and he will put all his power in and push the button on all of them. It's very sad to see, but he is a very powerful man, and I'm pretty sure they will be a success. Not saying that we won't invest into Fetch because the hard cap is too high. You just have to stick to your principles, but they might have a good return on investment.
Okay. All right. People are asking, how can they find Davinci on YouTube?
It's Davinci J15 is my YouTube channel. Also, I'm part of Chris's Crypto channel as well, so you can find me there as well.
Hey, first of all, congratulations on that. Well done.
Yes. Thanks for joining us, man. Thanks for joining us. We were 9 people. Now we are 10 people. It's so nice to have Davinci in our team. He's tripling our value immediately. It's so nice to have you, Davinci. Thank you so much for joining us, man.
Glad to be part of the team, man. It's awesome.
And Chris, so how'd you launch, or how'd you start Crypto, and how'd you get involved in crypto?
Oh, that was back in the days. I mean, me, Kiro, and Anup, we are the co-founders. And we started investing in crypto, and then the ICO space came up. Ian, you made some analysis on ICOs as well. We were watching you as well. And we had our own approach to it. Obviously, the numbers, your approach was great, but we still had our own approach. And the numbers showed that our approach was also very great, but we kept it privately. And one day we just said, okay, let's make it public. And then Wabi came up with the 200X and some other ICOs like OneChain and so on. And a lot of people were joining us. And then we started to switch from German to English content. And we made it bigger and bigger. And now we are where we are, 10 people at Crypto, Davinci having joined us as well as a CVO. And yeah, that's basically the very short story of Crypto. And Ian, we met already like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Thailand the first time.
First time. Second time Berlin. Third time Malta. Fourth time Davos, Switzerland World Economic Forum.
Yes, yeah.
The world is so small.
Speaking of that, what's your take on Davos? How do you enjoy that experience?
Oh, Davinci, maybe you can start with it. Davinci.
I found it one big party of all the CEOs and movers and shakers in the finance, and they were just partying up and having a good time, right? There were some serious meetings and stuff like that, but everybody was looking forward to the after parties. That's what I noticed.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the real networking happens, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we also enjoyed it. And we came there always at like 1 p.m. or so. We checked out 1 or 2 small conferences. Then we had a lunch. And then we went to the party. But the party was really valuable because you wasn't only there for drinking alcohol. You was also there with having a small chat with the CEO of Goldman Sachs, for example. I mean, it's so unreal. It's crazy to talk to those people. And even though you are not on the same level, I mean, Goldman Sachs guy, he's not a billionaire, so he's not very, very fuck you money wealthy, but he has so much power. So many people there, you are in a room where the majority of the people are at least at your level or higher. And I think that's a very great place to be, because this spirit, they just pull you up. And we really, I mean, I can recommend everyone going there who's able to go there, who's getting an invitation.
Yes, I wanted to chase down Janet Yellen and ask her, what do you think about gold? Is central bank storing it because of tradition? Oh, man.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it was definitely a life-changing experience. It reminds me of my first crypto conference when I went to Token Summit, and I met people in crypto for the first time in person. People who were doing this for multiple years, who became crypto millionaires, and being able to just have drinks with them, have dinner with them was just really fascinating, because you could pick their mind and just see how they worked, right? And same thing in Davos, not for crypto, but just more about other people who are successful in other space. I mean, there definitely was a big blockchain scene, but even other people who are just regular investors, VCs, private equity. I mean, even me seeing the CEO of Goldman Sachs being a DJ at the party, that was pretty cool, right? But I think it was very inspirational just being around great people. Right? Great people really motivate you to kind of keep on aspiring for great things.
Definitely, I agree.
Also, let me throw in something for everyone watching, man. Make sure you smash up the like button, man. It's crazy. Everyone should smash it up, man. We need a 1-to-1 ratio of viewers to likes, guys.
Smash the likes.
Come on. It's for free. The content is for free, and smashing up a like button is also for free, guys.
Yeah.
All right, going up already. Perfect, guys. Thanks.
Smash that to the moon. Okay, well, I mean, anything else you guys want to cover?
Well, I just want, if we're going to close it off for the day, I want to mention that I've updated our website for Pandora's wallet last week, and we've also updated the software, and we're going to be looking to start selling the software very soon. So, and have over 50 currencies, definitely by the end of this month, for sure.
Now, can you tell us about Pandora's wallet for those who haven't heard of it?
Well, Pandora's wallet is a wallet that allows you to connect with exchanges and trade with the exchanges whilst keeping your private keys on you holding the private keys. Because one of the problems I had, because I have over 300 different currencies, is that I couldn't find all the wallets for these currencies. And even if when I did, it would when I tried to install 10 of them on my computer run like really slow. So I've decided to create this wallet that would have access to all the currencies and still allow me to have access to my hold the private keys and trade with the exchanges, because that's very important to me. I wanted to be able to trade those using the little old lady style of trading. And so that's why I created this wallet. And so basically I created it for me, but if you guys want to use it too, that's great.
Okay, cool. And Chris, where can people find you as well?
Yeah, you can basically, I mean, everyone watching here is watching on YouTube. You can just go to the search bar, put in Crypto, and then crypto in one word, and you will basically find us right ahead. We also have an ongoing collaboration with Davinci J15, who is joining our team. We will have the next video coming up very, very soon, where we will pull up some TA, some fundamental analysis, some coins, which are probably a good buy right now or at the lower level or so. Very, very interesting content, guys, with, I don't know, like sometimes 20, 30, 40, 50, 60,000 views. So make sure you join our channel as well. Make sure you join Ian's channel, Ivan on Text channel, Davinci J15's channel, and also our channel at Crypto. So that's everything I have to say. And join our Telegram. That's it.
Well said, right? Kind of coming back full circle, right? So is it a bull market or a fake pump, right? I think it's, in a way, it's both, right? I think we're towards the end. Right, as you guys were saying, right, we're going from wave 3, 4 to 5, right? So, but I think the times are getting better, right? People are getting more optimistic, which is always good, right? So we're close to the bottom, wherever you think the bottom is. We're getting close to it, right?
Exactly.
So that being said, I mean, smash up the likes. Hope you guys like this free content, and we'll see you on the moon, right? We're going back to the moon again, guys.
And beyond.